Hey there YouTubers, so another drizzly day here in Devon, and I'm just having a stab at sorting out our water flow problem. This is your health and safety nightmare going on here. We've got mains electricity, wet floors, and all manner of nasty stuff going on. Anyway, what have we got? So that's the house down there, and then underneath this garden area here we've got a plastic pipe which pops out of the bottom of the pump house here and goes down to the house. Now when we moved in we had quite a complicated treatment system which had this, well it wasn't actually, I suppose. This is what they call a berm filter, which is like a, I'm not really sure what berm is, but it looks a bit like fine gravel, and you fill up your pressure vessel with it. There's a pipe which runs down the inside of that pressure vessel, and the water goes in through the top, flows up through the outside, and then comes out through these various pipes. And then last off, it used to go through this string filter. I just threw out all the old ones, but basically they're like a filter made out of lots of polypropylene string wrapped around a central HDPE core with lots of holes in it. Anyway, but anyway, when we had our water tested, private supply regulations or something, which we abandoned after about doing it for the first time and haven't done it for the last 6 years or so, we found that the pH was low, so the water was acidic, and apparently that can damage your copper pipes. And also, more importantly from my point of view, was the berm. If you're running berm filters at a lower pH, it can actually make the manganese problem worse, because I think berm has some manganese in it, and by running acidic water through it and you release the manganese. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I thought at the time. So I got this extra filter here, another one, okay, and that one we fill full of calcium carbonate granules to act as a pH correction, and that quickly furred up everything in the house. I mean, even the kettle stopped working because it was so furred up with limescale. So in the end, as things go, busy days, I'm doing this on a Sunday, we just ended up using the string filter, and we've been doing that for a few years, and it's not very good, to be honest, because everything in the house gets stained red, like the bathroom tiles and the various pipes within the appliances, and the little tray where you put your washing powder or liquid in the washing machine. That's all sort of like a horrible red colour. But anyway, we don't drink it. We've got a separate RO system for our water we drink in the kitchen, so we've just carried on like that for a while. But anyway, the problem is now the flow in the house, the water flow, has got very, very bad. So when you turn the tap on, it all squirts out as it should, but then quickly the flow dies back down, and it's no good, I think. And stuff started to malfunction because the water flow is so low, particularly the boiler. And so when we have a shower, it is abysmal. It's trickly, it goes hot and cold, because I think the boiler is trying to compensate for the varying pressure. So it's all a bit that's all a bit unpleasant. So I'm out in the shed trying to figure out what to do, and I figure the water, being we've only been using a string filter and I haven't really changed it very regularly at that, some sediment does get through, hence the staining and stuff in the house. And I'm wondering over the last few years whether sediment has built up in maybe like a low point in this pipe, and perhaps that has restricted the pipe and is causing the reduction in flow. So I've disconnected it, and as you can see, I found out that it's quite a big diameter one, big enough to get a normal garden hose down, And so I've got my hose, which I've just given a bit of a wash to get any crap off the outside. I'd ought to run it before I put it in, actually, to check there's nothing inside which might cause problems. I've managed to find enough connectors to fit this, which is where the water comes out of the borehole, onto a hose lock connector, so I can turn it on. But as you can see with this, there's absolutely loads of pressure. It goes, I mean, that's going like 15 meters or something, so it's like absolutely tons of water up here at the pump, but it's not getting to the house. So anyway, let's hook this all up to a hose, and I'm hoping when I push it down the pipe, I've left some of the taps on in the house, cold taps. I don't want to push any loosened sediment into the hot boiler. That would be a disaster. Probably not that bad, to be honest. But yeah, let's have a go, see how we get on. So I've got the hose pipe hooked up, and we've got some water going down here. I've managed to get a good 5, 6, 7 meters of hose in there so far. So we must be, I guess, sort of halfway to the stopcock, which is in the porch. Right, so I've pushed that hose in as far as it will go, and I've been slowly running some water through it. I can't put it on too, I'd like to put it on a high pressure, but it's all been squirting out. I don't want to squirt on that box there, which has got some electrics on it. So you can see all this dark brown sediment which has come out on the floor. Now, to me, that doesn't really look like enough sediment to have caused a blockage, particularly in a pipe that size. But curiously, even though this, where I'm putting the water in, is higher than the bathroom tap, and that water has managed to force its way all the way back up the pipe past this hose pipe, is not coming out the bathroom tap. So whatever's happening between the end of that hose and the bathroom tap isn't very good, because I would have thought there would have been a little bit of water coming out, even if it's just a trickle. But anyway, so what I'm going to do now is pull out that pipe and see how far we got, because maybe there's a T-junction or something I didn't know about, because we have got a garden tap over that way, so maybe it's like tees off or something at some point, goes to garden tap over there, and I can't get past that point, which is a shame. And if that doesn't work, then I'll have to dig up the stopcock, because it got paved over. So now you may think that's insane, but bear in mind we've got this tap here which we can use for turning off the water in the house, and also you can just switch the pump off. So we've got 2 other methods of stopping water get to the house, which is why that stopcock down there, which actually got corroded and broken and then taken apart and then put back together without the gate valve in it, and I wonder whether there's something going on there. Anyway, we're getting somewhere, I suppose. Certainly making a mess. So there you go, you can see where the hose stops, and so there must be a junction here of some sort, which I didn't really know about. But as I say, we have got an outdoor tap up that way, so perhaps something to do with that. So onwards from here is a stopcock, which is under this badly paved area here. Just a shame we're going to have to dig that up. But I can't really see what else it's going to be. I suppose the main thing to do is maybe I should put it back together at this stage and see if that's worked, what I've done so far. So no, that didn't work.
and I put it back together and the flow rate was still very low. And I thought it might be a good idea at this point to try and do a bit of diagnosis. So I ran the kitchen tap for 1 minute with a bucket underneath it, and it collected 5 litres of water, which is pretty low. And but then I went to the outdoor tap, which runs through about 40 metres of 20mm pipe, so quite a lot of resistance there. And I found the water flow there was 10 litres per second, so twice as good, even though it had more pipe to go through. So I kind of knew that whatever the problem was, it was between that junction that we found by poking the hose down, and between that junction and the house. And so that gave me the idea then to dig up the stopcock, because I kind of knew that's where the problem was.
So this is we're down there at the house now. There's where the end of the hose pipe where we were looking at earlier. There's a junction under there somewhere, and but this is the one I know where there's to look. And so here we've got the larger diameter pipe. Sorry, I put my finger in the way. At the top of the screen, and the smaller diameter pipe which goes into the house at the bottom of the screen. And as you can see, there's this rather decrepit looking stopcock in the middle, and a few, oh god, might be a couple of years ago now, I dug this up around here because I wanted to replace the stopcock, but then it had these very peculiar couplings which I didn't recognise. So we've got a brass fitting there at the top, but then that to me there looks like a galvanised steel fitting, so you can just about see the collars around the top, and it's been in there probably 30 years, so that's going to have gone pretty rusty, I would have thought, inside. So that's promising in terms of locating a culprit. And the actual stopcock itself there, which you can see poking up, that one I took apart and just removed the gate valve because it was jammed, and it wouldn't, can't remember why I did that, to be honest, but anyway, that just seemed like a fairly easy fix at the time. So I took it apart, just the actual valve. I didn't take it off the pipes or anything, so it would just unscrew off the top there, pulled out the gate valve, put it all back together again. But perhaps that galvanised connector there is what the problem is, hopefully anyway. So what's going to be fun is when I disconnect this pipe, all the water which is in the pipe, which is going to probably be a few litres, is going to flow into this hole. And also you've got an electricity cable running along here as well, so lots of fun. A water filled with hole and electricity cables. What a glorious Sunday I'm having. So anyway, let's see if we can get that apart. And obviously I've thought about the parts which I'm going to use to replace that stopcock before I actually take it apart, because this is our, it's not our only water supply to the house actually. I've got one that comes in the other side as well, but so what we need, basically I'm just going to take that out and not replace it with another stopcock, because as I said earlier, we can just turn the pump off, or there's a valve up in the pump house which will turn all the water off in the house, so we don't really need a stopcock next to the house. So let's have a look in the old plumbing box. What have we got? I've already been in here. It's not one of those videos where they go, oh look, just what I need. So we've got this thing here, which is like an Omni connector. I'm hoping, oh dear, it's a bit on the small side, that one. That's not going to go around that, is it? So I had all my hopes pinned on this bad boy. So this is a connector which connects old imperial pipes of varying sizes to the new metric sizes. Sorry, I can't remember what they're actually called, what about that? I suppose I could disconnect the other end, try it, but I've still got to connect that to that. That goes in there, that goes in there maybe. That's too big, so maybe I haven't got the right bits after all. It's annoying. And I could try that up the other end. That doesn't look too far off. The only problem is adapting it back to really that, because that's got to go. Sorry, that will have to go on the small end. And I think this pipe work that I've added to in other parts of the property, that will work, but this one here, is it going to fit on the big one? Let's go and have a look. Ow.
So there's some more waffle after this, but basically it was that galvanised connector. So we took it out, I chopped it in half so you could see what it was like, and it's all rusted up. And I managed to cobble together enough bits to replace that section with all the various connectors and the old stopcock and everything. When we tried the kitchen tap next time round, we got about 12 litres per minute out of it, so that was pretty good. Anyway, a bit more waffle now if you want to, but that was the problem.
Well, it's been a stressful couple of hours, but I think I've fixed it. Managed to get this all connected up without any leaks, which was a bit of a relief. And this connector here is a 20mm, but it's also a 1/2 inch connector as well. It does both, so that was handy. I had to happen to have that in the box. And then this connector at that end, you can see, is a 1 inch fitting. There's only labelled as 1 inch. It might do metric as well. And then I had to get these connectors off some galvanised fittings, which were really badly rusted. So I had to cut the galvanised fittings off and then gently remove the threaded plastic bits. But the real problem was, you remember that old stopcock which down there, it's all rusty. So here it is here. If you can remember, it was in the hole, looking a bit like that, wasn't it? Well, look inside. Over the last 30 years, that's completely furred up with this rust. It's rock hard, it's not sediment. So as you can see, that's really reduced the size of that pipe and therefore the flow, which is why we're having such terrible flow in the house. And I think that was interfering with the boiler, because I haven't tried it yet, but I think the boiler was getting so little water, it wasn't really working properly, and the hot water keeps coming on and off, and the thermostat in the shower doesn't function properly because the valve's not receiving enough flow. And I've also managed to upgrade our filter system with this triple system. It's got a 5 micron system, 5 micron filter, 20 inch filter. So that's a paper filter in there. The middle one is what's that one? KDF, which I haven't used before. It's meant to get rid of iron, which is good. And then this one on the end is carbon block. So that's to mop up any volatiles or anything that are left at the end. So all in all, I'm extremely happy with how today's gone, because it's a bit stressful doing all this when your water supply depends on it. And now I know, even if the water isn't any warmer, we'll be able to have a shower before I go to bed, which is nice. And oh, was that a drip? Oh crumbs, I spoke too soon. Ugh. Have we got a drip? There's a little one. I wonder where it's coming from. And all pretty happy with everything, and that could do with a damn good tidy up in there now, couldn't it? But it's going to be dark in about 20 minutes, or yeah, probably 20 minutes or so. So I think I'll pack it in for the evening. But yeah, I'm glad I found the problem, and everything else can be ironed out fairly easily. So I hope that was useful to someone, and I can edit out some of the waffle and empty bits, and have a nice evening. Cheerio, bye.